Welcome to Season 3 of Anna and Selena's 15-ish minute coffee chat. We invite you to join our weekly real talk conversations with business gurus and entrepreneurs that share best practices, struggles, and a good laugh while we try, but fail, to keep it at 15-ish minutes.
Aloha, welcome. This week's host, Selena of How Oldie Socially Inspired, and Anna of Nomad About have invited Lauren Bruhn, registered associate marriage and family therapist. We're digging deep into our psyche and looking at stress and anxiety and what role they play in your business.
Hi, everyone. Yes, welcome. Hello. We're so excited to be back for season 3.
I know. Anna, who are we? Like season 3? I mean, I know they're short seasons, but still.
They are short seasons, but how jam-packed full of cool guests, right?
Oh, I know. I'm excited.
I know. And I just have to tell everybody, we already have season 3 pretty much entirely planned out. We only have a couple of guests that are still pending. So we have such a cool lineup this season. It's going to be so fun. And we're starting it off with like a really a great topic. And because it's almost the holidays, stress and anxiety is just going to go like all over your head, especially as an entrepreneur, right? So it's like making the bills, tax season's coming. Here, let me just add to your stress right now for a few minutes. Right?
Wait, tax season. Oh my gosh. No. Exactly. I think it's funny you were saying that. Yes. Can we just and we're going to back up to when we had Aaron Cothran on, and his episode on our podcast and in the video was the most viewed. And Anna and I were like, there's something about this that I think resonates with a lot of people, and I think it's important. And so we were like, it is going to be our mission every season to have a mental health specialist on, right?
Yeah. So Aaron was great because he was kind of right smack in the middle of all that COVID anxiety and stress, right? It was all very COVID related. And now people are starting to pull out of that. But now we're getting hit with the seasonal anxiety and stress that comes with running a business, managing a family, planning all the things, having enough time for all the activities. And even though social distancing is still in place, it's still a huge part of what we're going to have to deal with. And it's going to be different. So some of it might just be being okay with having it be different this year. So anyway, it's going to be really super fun today. I am very excited. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time just chit-chatting right here at the beginning, because we all know what that does to our 15 minutes, right?
Well, you all know what happens when me and Anna get together. We forget. That there's other people involved.
We do. And so we don't want to forget we have a guest just sitting in the wings waiting to come and give us all this great information. So we're going to jump right in. And we're going to, Selena is going to tell us, actually, I'm going to tell you about Lauren. Yeah, I'm going to tell you about Lauren. Okay, so Lauren, yes. Lauren.
It's first episode, don't mind us.
Lauren's a registered associate marriage and family therapist. She lives and works in the San Francisco Bay Area, so she's Californian. She is a recent graduate from Santa Clara University's counseling psychology program, and she is a passionate advocate for mental health. She also just happens to be Selena's cousin, which is kind of a fun little family tie that we're going to bring on here. And so let's bring Lauren on. Welcome to Lauren.
Let's do it.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi. Hello. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you for that bio.
I know. Everybody is always like, whoa, I feel like I need to come in on a chariot. You know what I mean? Okay, real fast. I just want to mention this. Yes, Lauren is my cousin, and I absolutely love and adore her. And I think that she is this wise person that I was so excited to invite on. And she so graciously said, yes, she didn't even pause. She's like, of course I will. So, and I mentioned this backstage with Lauren and Anna is that, October 4th through 10th was Mental Health Awareness Week. And I'm like, what a great way to segue into our season 3 by having Lauren be our first guest. And we're talking about anxiety and all the things, right? So Thanks, Lauren, for being on.
Oh, well, thank you. It's so fantastic, like I said, to be here. And mental health is something that, it's great that it has these special days in which the community really celebrates, and maybe the topic of mental health reaches out a little further than usual. But I mean, I think I've built a life so far off of remembering that it's every day. And I think that's a good metaphor for how we approach it, that you don't segment it into a little teeny sliver of your life, because it is sort of the current running underneath everything else.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And it really does affect every facet of your life, from business to personal and everything in between that goes between those two things. So having a strong foundation is so important. So what we're hoping today is that our guests and our viewers can walk away with a little bit of that. But before we do any of that, we have to do our coffee cup selfie, because if we don't do it now, we forget about it. We're like, wait, did we do that or did we not do that? Right at the beginning, it's like, let's do the selfie. So she's got this cute little like therapist cup today. I went to a wedding over the thing, so my stepdaughter gave me this cool, I smile because you're my stepmother and laugh because you married my father cup that I'm going to be using today.
Yeah, so, Lauren has the best cup. It has like a dog on a, if you can post it up, it's perfect for today, guys. Perfect for today.
There's a little dog. He's the therapist. Well, I think you're wonderful. And I think that's such a vibe for 2020.
Right? Oh my gosh. Okay. And then I'm going to tell everybody real fast before we do our selfie. Anna, again, was just at her stepdaughter's wedding, and she came back, and we all know I'm a Starbucks cup lover. Lauren knows this too, because we had an interesting conversation about another mug I got. We won't bring that up. But Oregon, this is where Anna is from. And this is where Lauren went to college too, in Oregon.
Yeah,
no ducks.
All very appropriate. Step family. She's a marriage and family therapist. She went to Oregon. We got some therapy going on today, folks.
Yes, totally.
All right. So pop up your cup.
Oh, that's right. Okay, ready on 3, guys. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Whew,
awesome. All right. So for everybody watching, please don't forget, pose for a coffee cup selfie, even if it wasn't right when we just did it. Pose for another one. Tag us with 15ish MCC or at the Howley or at I Am Nomad About, so we can find your images. Because if you didn't notice, we pop those in our opening video for each new season. So we'd love to add some new photos in for our next new season.
Yes, please, 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 please. All right. Okay. Oh, I have to do my thing, right, Anna? Sorry.
I know. We're swapping out papers here. Okay.
Okay. Timer. Anna usually yells and says, ready, Selena, you got to set it. Even though this is purely not what's going to happen, but it at least marks something that we do, a tradition. So everybody.
Tradition. Our 15 minutes are on. We're going to blow through them, but it's there.
Right. Okay. So real fast, we are going to just, we'll talk about the toolkit first. Let me bring this up.
Introduce the topic first, and then we're going to do the toolkit.
This is not like the very first. So actually, I'm going to bring, there we go. This is our topic today too. Like just bringing it up this way. Is managing it all, business and anxiety and stress. So who perfect to bring a specialist that will just kind of help us manage this. But what's going to be fun today is we are having Lauren turn the tables on us, and she's going to be asking us questions like we're in a session, and maybe that's going to help you all. So
yes. So we picked a toolkit today that we thought would be very appropriate for this topic in particular. Our toolkit today is going to be mentorship. And it's one of those words that people say or they talk about, and they may or may, it means something a little bit different, I think, for everyone, depending on where you're at in the stage of your business or what kind of mentorship you're talking about. But for me, one of the reasons we picked this one is I'm currently doing a mentorship with ACP, which is American Corporate Partners. And I found this mentorship through through AMC, the Association of Military Spouse Entrepreneurs. And they set this mentorship up And basically it's a year long, and I have this mentor that is this amazing businesswoman that started her own business and is thriving in it. And me being a little bit at the kind of the beginning stages of some of that, she has helped guide me through really some very interesting things that I didn't know were going to be issues for me. And not even like big issues. Sometimes it was like, well, I'm feeling a little like this. And she would just say one thing that would like key me in on, oh, that's what's going on. I get it now. Anyway, so definition of mentor right here. It's guidance, basically. Somebody who's more experienced than you that's guiding you. And you can either have a mentor or you can be a mentor. And you could be in either of those stages within your own personal business world. What do you say, Selena? Mentors.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, obviously my question would be, but one that we love is, and we always like to kind of throw this in there, is our AMC. I'm going to just put this in here. A mentorship that Anna has kind of like had was through, AMC's, which is the Associated Military Spouses of Entrepreneurs. I think I said that right. It's always a handful. Or mouthful. You know what? It's been 3 weeks since we did this, and I feel like I cannot flow, but it's okay. We're gonna go with it. So, Lauren, I guess I have a question for you. Do you have a mentor that has helped you with this like new career, as you like to say?
Oh my gosh, so many. As I was listening to Anna, your description of a mentor was so great, and I think I wouldn't be here at all without the mentors that I've had. They've been both like clinically and emotionally just helpful along the journey. What could it look like to do this job? What are your options? Like part of that visualization piece for me came from my mentors. Like, what might I look like sitting in your seat? And then what are the concrete steps to get there? So today, actually, our activity came from a mentor. So it's like we were vibing, even though we don't know it.
That really does fit in so good. I'm so excited.
Okay. I know. That was fun.
So to round out kind of the mentorship toolkit thing, we didn't want to leave you with just like, hey, go find a mentor. Because, that's sometimes a little bit difficult. So I'm going to just tell you a long time ago, when I was just first starting out my career, I knew I wanted to do something with like training, marketing, but I wasn't really sure what. So I read this awesome book called Cool Careers for Dummies. And I'm not kidding. Yeah, but one of the things they talk about in this book is they said, find someone who's doing the job you think you would love. Set up an interview with them to just go and talk to them about what they do. Not even like, hey, I'm looking for a job, but talk to them about what they do and make sure you take a resume with you, because who knows, they're always looking for aspiring, usually people in the position of some sort of power or management is excited to help out somebody that is excited about what they do, if that makes sense. So I did this, and it has started me on I did that very thing. I found a guy who did what I thought I'd want to do, set up an interview, went in, got a job, first of all, which was awesome. That's aside from the part. But what it did was it set me up on this 20-year career trajectory that I'm still on, which is like really a testament to kind of like that whole idea of what mentoring can do for someone. So if you're looking for a mentor, first of all, if you're an AMC member, all of our military spouses that are out there listening, go through AMC. Yes, go through AMC through their ACP mentorship program. It's fantastic. It's free. It's a year. They handhold you through the whole thing as much as you need them to. It's so good.
So good.
Look within your own organization. Is there somebody surrounding you that can help you out with maybe some of the, not even difficulties or struggles, but just like helping you feel motivated and excited about what might be next in your life? Any professional association or group that it deals with the job, the profession you've chosen is going to be a great place to find mentors. And then what I just said, if you're like floundering in some profession and you're not loving it, find someone who is doing what you love and go talk to them about it. Find out what it took to get there. And then that can really start you on that trajectory of being where you want to be when it comes to the business you want to be in. And if that's being an entrepreneur, you can reach out to me or Selena and talk to us about it too. We'd be more than happy to help you out with that. So
I have I have a thing. So, you know what, this is where Lauren will tie in really nicely about it. You know, it's funny, like, so I love, this is where anxiety comes in for me, right? Is I admire quite a lot of people, and I've allowed my anxiety to prevent me from asking them, for setting up an interview, for being like, I just want to know about you, like, teach me your ways kind of thing. I don't have the confidence. And I think that's interesting to say, but it gives me anxiety because I'm scared they're going to reject my requests.
Meanwhile, I'm like right in their faces. Hi. So they're really, yes. So how do you deal with that, Selena? Like, what's the way forward? Are we going to find out today?
I'm going to find out today with Lauren, because I honestly I can kick myself for many missed opportunities. So I hope my lesson of being afraid to start or afraid to ask, but again, this is where Lauren will come in, right? Where we say to her, like, how can we overcome that? How can we overcome being nervous? And I think, you know, we talked about this before, Anna and Lauren, like the word imposter syndrome. I don't know if that's, you know what I mean? Like where you feel you are not, you just don't want to be, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm worthy to ask somebody that I want to be like for their time.
I think sometimes people feel like it's just a fluke that they've made it to where they are, or they've been as successful as they can possibly be. Maybe sometimes you feel that way, Selena. And that's really what imposter syndrome says to me. It's like, you think like, I don't even know how this happened. It was like sheer luck, as opposed to you have a skill set that people need and people want, and you're good at it. And she doesn't recognize that. So hopefully some people that are here today listening can take away from some of this to realize, well, first to help them with any kind of imposter syndrome that they might be dealing with, but also to understand that being a mentor or having a mentor is it's more than just like do I deserve this, or but they can help you through that portion of it too. I can tell you, like, my business is changing daily, and my mentor has basically said to me, you don't like doing that? Drop it. She's like, I promise you, in 15 years, you're going to be kicking yourself. You didn't get rid of it sooner. She's like, it's no longer one of your services. If you don't like doing it, take it out of the mix now. Yeah. And when I was like, but I get an income. But you know, the dollar amount that's attached to it. And I followed her advice, and huge weight off the shoulder. So anyway, okay. So we're going to go for mentorship. So like Selena mentioned, Lauren is going to be asking the questions to Selena and I today. We don't know what's on the docket. We have no idea. No. This is a huge, like, talk about stress and anxiety. Like, we're going into the blind. Oh, she's like, yourself.
We can do a little quick grounding and centering. Just take note of where your feet are. You know, are they and where are they? Are they in shoes?
No,
is it
they're cool. I do work from home.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I haven't worn shoes in, what is it, like 6 months? What are shoes? I'm gonna have to go like fashion some shoes to leave the house in like a year from now. But I love the connection of mentoring, and then also that imposter syndrome. I know I had that sense that you don't belong. You know, whether you forget the syndrome name, it doesn't even matter, but it's about feeling like recognition of what happens for you in those spaces. And it's okay to ask your mentors, at least I think so. It's okay to ask your mentors about their experience with that as well. I think there's some safety in asking like the marketing question, the budgeting question, the exposure question, but they have also walked that path in some ways. And I think when I have allowed myself to be vulnerable enough, just enough, you don't have to go with be safe, be secure,
Right.
but make a little change that allows you to be vulnerable enough to ask your mentors about what it was like for them to overcome that little energy input barrier.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I think of it. Because usually there isn't like a physical barrier to it, but there's this sense of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to really input that extra oomph, that extra effort from the heart to get that kind of connection with somebody. So I think taking note of just even your breathing, where your feet are, and do what you got to do to make that connection feel just a little more comfortable. I like to think of this as like, what can you offer to yourself to, and then fill in the blank with whatever you got to do that day to make that phone call you're dreading, to reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a while. And maybe it's a hot cup of coffee. Maybe it's a snack before you start. I know my stuff is all food stuff, so that's where I go. But maybe for you, there's a song that connects, you know, take the 2 minutes and listen to it. And just remember that, you know, your favorite singer or artist has that vibe you want to channel into your call, and nobody needs to know about it. This is very much tied to what I think of as rituals, setting yourself up for something that consistently helps you feel like, I got this. Because you do. And if you don't, you're just adding to the practice you've put into it to eventually get where you want to go. So there's no wasted effort. So,
All right. That's so good. You know what, when you said like just being conscious, like, where's your feet? Center yourself. It's okay. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Where are those feet? Where are you at?
I love it. Lauren, you've got one of those voices. It's like a yoga studio
right?
voice. That's soothing and calming. Like when you said, take a breath, I went, I'm ready now. So as people are listening in today, when she asks her questions, we would love for you to answer them too. If you're feeling vulnerable and you want to go ahead and share in the comment bar, we'd love that. If you're not, just write it down or think about it on your own terms. Yeah. Because
put it in your journal.
Yeah, this is really, I mean, we're gearing this towards business, but this really, I think, is an activity that you can apply to pretty much any part of your life that you might be feeling some stress and anxiety over. So, all right, are we ready to get going with our prompts?
Let's do it.
Lauren, give it to me straight.
Okay. I love that banner.
Right?
Okay. So I think, you know, based on what we said, I kind of have like 3 categories. The questions today come from a very cool card set. I feel like what do they do with the hand? And they're like, this is my eyeshadow color, but empower yourself. 50 empowering cards to level up your life. And like, look a little cheesy on the line there, but I like that they are just thought-provoking questions. And there's a million and one of these card collections. You know, they're often kind of like on next to the candles at bookstores, but they're also on Amazon or wherever card decks are sold, I guess. So we've got a few categories. And I feel like what we touched on is a little bit of self-knowledge, self-awareness. And I love that piece, awareness. I love that word resonate, because resonate to me, I always think of a bell, and there's really the structure in which the sound is resonating. You got to be kind of in your own body. Where are your feet? Where's your breathing? Where are you in order to let experiences hit you in some specific way? Oh my God, did we run out of time already?
No, we're not out of time. That's just for show. We could go all day, Lauren. Keep
oh my God.
On.
Oh, like I could.
Yeah.
How much time you got? Okay. So, so I think one that I would love to ask you both, how do you feel about getting quiet, listening deeply and patiently to your inner wisdom? I picked the most therapist-y one for you guys to just really like set it off. I don't have a gong or anything, but if you can imagine that tone, I think it really would add to the moment. But how do you feel about those quiet moments of reflection? What's it like for you both?
Well, okay. So I'm going to start off with the answering for these questions. So I'm going to tell you that quiet moments are difficult for me, not because I like to have loudness all the time, but a quiet moment is like, there's still like the radio in the background, or I'm chilling out by the fireplace. You know, my kids are running around or jumping on the trampoline. It's not really silence. So when you use the therapy terms, quiet moments, I envision like that silence, that meditation silence. And that's not something I am very good at. It actually causes, I think, more stress on me, because I feel like there's things I need to be doing. There's places I need to be going. There's stuff I need to be getting done. And even that 5 or 10 minutes I'm taking out, I could have gotten one of those check marks off my list. So, I mean, being real honest here, that's not something that is a strong point for Miss Anna.
But you're already on that step by reflecting on it. And I think what I hear is the should seems to be sort of a silent addition in the background, the should-ing all over ourselves. I think that can be something that I certainly feel in my own life. And yeah, the quiet moments are not easy. I think there's an expectation that just sitting by the river and thinking about my life is going to be so easy, but it's hard work, and you got to honor the work that you choose to do. So don't ever uncouple that work from that celebration that you've done something for yourself.
Yeah. What about you, Selena? How do you feel about quiet moments?
So like you, Anna, I too don't know how to have quiet moments. And so I have to schedule them. And I'll tell you what's funny is I scheduled to get a facial with this lovely lady I see once a month. And she laughs at me because during the facial, I'm still talking to her instead of just letting it be quiet and enjoying the time. She goes, but what's funny is it's the only time that I actually allow myself to not worry about anything else I have going on. And my body, when I ache to get off her table because it's the only time I've actually let myself get that relaxed. And, but it's funny, I don't have a quiet moment because like Anna, I feel like I worry too much about things that need to get done.
Yeah.
We're moms, we're wives, so there's all these additional things to add on to just being also an entrepreneur. So I feel, and then there's this responsibility factor. I think that stress doesn't allow me to have the time. But again, maybe you'd be proud of me because I schedule once a month that facial that allows me to thank you, Lauren, that allows me to detach because I can't have my phone during that hour and a half. I can't communicate with anybody that's outside of my space. And generally, as we all know, because this thing right here, we multitask, you're not 100% in the moment with somebody. And that is the only time that I am 100% in the moment. And it's for a per se quiet time.
Yeah. So let me just turn this around just really quick. Lauren, because Selena and I both struggle with this. I know we're not the only ones. I mean, if you kind of look, John jumps in and says, yeah, anxiety involved with something like that. Calais says it's taken time to learn to self-reflect, right? Yeah. So for her, it's about writing things down and reflecting on them, what you've learned and how you want to progress. But what's the importance of these quiet moments when it comes to developing yourself as a person? What would you say those are?
Oh, so I think there's kind of two pieces that I heard in that question. You can let me know how close I got here, but I think the offering to yourself a quiet moment, first off, doesn't have to be on your own. I think, Selena, our coffee chats every week to me are so restorative. They're so thoughtful and contemplative. I know that I'm somebody that can really benefit from time with something said out loud. I think that's why therapy works in part, because there is a difference in the way that we process information said out loud versus what stays inside our mind. So, it can look a lot of different ways. It's kind of the short story there. And then why this might be important, especially for entrepreneurs. I kind of want to speak to those that might be, longtime listeners of your show, which is amazing. This is a great show. But I think that there's an element of creativity, of staying really close to your values that can benefit from some time spent with a trusted person, spent with yourself, that can help you to align what you're enacting in the world and what your values are. And I think that your values are something that I certainly come back to with clients and are part of my own practice. I love to journal. I love to talk to a trusted mentor, a trusted member of my tribe. I think we all have people that are, family by blood, by relation, but also those that are just there approach to life really speaks to us. So I think infusing your life with more creativity can be a direct result of having spent a little time with yourself. And even if that's just noticing that your time spent with yourself today has been really tough, that you were really grappling with things, that it felt uneasy to sit still, it felt uneasy or challenging to do that task you kind of offered to yourself to try it out. And I think remaining really curious about your response to just a reflective moment is key. You know, it doesn't have to have this wonderful outcome. You don't need to come out of it feeling like that was the best thing I've ever done and I feel like ready to tackle the world. You might come away with more questions, more unease than what you started with, but you still gave yourself the chance to try something new. And I think that can make all the difference.
I love that, Lauren. Yeah. Clearly, I picked out the one thing you said that just really like whacked me in the head with it, which is that these quiet moments let you spend time with your value system again, where sometimes you just, you assume you know what you think you know, right? But then when you take that minute and really stop and think about it, and I love Amber popped in and she says, yeah, sometimes hearing your thoughts out loud bounced off another person make a huge impact. And that really is true. And I love that you're saying that quiet moments don't have to be alone time. Like it can be with another person.
Absolutely.
Like when you said quiet moments, I was like, oh gosh, I'm never alone. I'm never quiet. I'm never that. I'm never like in that, like there are times I like to just sit and chill, but there's always something else happening around me.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, Anna, you know what that means? That means our time together can be added a quiet moment.
Check mark, big bonus for us.
Yes.
No more complaints from our husbands about all our time on the phone.
We're going to say Lauren said it here on 10/19.
That's right. Our mental health specialist said
okay. Well, let's move into the second prompt, Lauren. That was good. Okay. I feel good. And I feel like I'm going to, so everybody just taking away from that, I really hope that you do find a quiet moment, share that with us here, or put it in your journal that you did it or that you're doing it. Because that's going to affect your business working level. I don't know, whatever I'm saying that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it lets you spend time with your value system and figure things out. I think that's really the key, right? All right. We're ready for number 2. So level with me, Lauren. What's number 2?
All right. Well, I mean, it's like you guys knew what was on the cards, but you didn't.
Really?
So I just gotta commend you.
Really
so
did.
I think, in a lot on theme with noticing what it's like to have those moments of quiet, noticing what it's like to bring yourself to a place that you're investing in yourself. I love this card. Are my thoughts positive? How does my inner voice talk to me?
Ooh.
How does my inner voice talk to me?
Yeah, Anna. How does it talk to you?
Well, let's see. Actually, I would say most of the time my inner voice is positive. I do not suffer from a lot of anxiety and stress when it comes to the direction I'm going, mostly because I just plow ahead frequently without thinking about what I'm doing. And that sometimes I have to come back and reverse, pick up some pieces, pause for a moment, figure out what's going on. But if I want to try something, I just go ahead and try it. I don't have a lot of fear for jumping off that ledge of the unknown. So when I do spend time reflecting, it's often a reflection on what I just did as opposed to what I'm about to do. Because I am not a stop and think about it. There is a process of I think about it before I do it, clearly, because I'm a planner and an organizer. So I figure out how I'm going to make it, and then I just do it. So I think that in those quiet moments when I'm speaking to myself, I would say that my inner voice is mostly positive in the sense that it is, I don't berate myself. If I make a mistake, I'm okay with that. And I have no problem sharing that either. Yeah. And I'm like the crazy mom that's going to be embarrassing her kids, the honking the horn, the yelling out the window, the wearing the weird clothes, putting on I love to dress up for Halloween. So that kind of notice or that kind of like, I guess, recognition, even if it's like I haven't done it exactly right, I'm okay with. So that's what I would say for me. What about you, Selena?
Okay, well, it's funny how different Anna and I are. So I can be like the world's best cheerleader for others, but not myself. So I do constantly, it's funny how Anna had said, like, you know, if she makes a mistake, she doesn't like berate herself. She kind of like processes what happened and moves on. And I think for me, I linger on, I wish I could have done it better. And I feel like I disappointed the people that were involved in how that, you know, affected, you know, I mean, I do have a lot of anxiety. I mean, I'll share two of them. One is of birds. I cannot do birds. They are the absolute death of me. And I, you know, if I could have pulled it up, what's funny is my husband had put like this funny like video of an ostrich attacking a man. But when my sister was here this summer, we went up to a safari drive-through, and there was actually two ostriches that were coming for the car. And there's a video of me screaming because I actually thought the ostrich would get in my car, even though I had a big Ford Expedition. Not that I would have run it over. I was just saying, like, but you know, that's one. And the second is I actually have anxiety driving on a freeway. I don't know what it is. I just get anxiety. So I'm a naturally anxiety driven person. And I don't know if a lot of people would think that, but I am. And so my inner voice is not very kind to me, is what I think I would say. But I'm super kind to others. And I wonder if I'm more kind to others to balance the fact that I'm not kind to myself. So I don't know. That's what I'd say, Lauren. Curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
All of that.
You know, I think I love what you both said, that because I think there's room to share both of those experiences. Like if this is something your inner monologue is like a rock star is always on your side, there's probably others out there that could benefit from how that has influenced your success in life and your approach to difficult, challenging times. And then I think also being mindful of when our inner voice isn't serving us anymore. Shelter in place, I got in my car one day and there was something I had forgotten to mail, and it'd been like days. Like this thing had been in my car for like, I could have walked it there by now. It was like just a piece of mail. And I thought, oh, I'm the worst. So harsh. Probably not the worst. This person's, this card wasn't even for a birthday or something. Like it wouldn't have mattered when I mailed it. But I remember that time because I think to me that was the first time I'd really thought about like, what do I say to myself? Is it helpful? And a lot of times, I think it can sound like once you notice this inner voice and you notice it's not serving you, it can feel like something that's got to be shifted right now. It's got to be changed right now because it's so terrible that I do this thing. And already you're stepping back into that negative voice. And I think it's nice to just notice it. Like, oh, wow, there she is, that critic who needs to have mailed things days earlier and is very unaccepting of anything less than that target date. Noticing that they're back, that tendency is back, and letting yourself off the hook for it. And maybe try it again. What could you have said to yourself? Oh gosh, there's that thing. And it's so nice of you to have mailed that card. It's cool that it's a couple days late. You go, girl. There's a lot of room to have improved. And if it is a moment where you can offer yourself a redo, why not? If it's not, we can always get that, but we can offer ourselves a chance to just maybe restate how we were saying that to ourselves. And when that gets hard, how might you have said that to a friend? If your friend was like, you know what, I didn't mail this thing. You're great. You do great things all the time.
I love that. I have to pull this up because Clay, this is so funny. I talk out loud. So Selena often says Clay and I are exactly alike. And I was like, yes, girl, I do the same thing. I talk out loud to myself all the time. Like my husband will be like, who are you talking to? I'm like, what are you talking about? But I think that talking to yourself like you're a friend. That's what you were just saying. Like, you don't need to be like the angry, you don't have to be the angry friend. You know?
Right. Yeah. Right. What kind of friend are you talking about, Anna?
Right. You don't have to be the angry friend. You can be like the kind friend. I love, this made me laugh, actually giggle. So Chloe's also giving me examples of things you can say to people. So be like, hey, you dope. Why'd you do that? Good job.
Yeah.
You know, anyway. So, yes, I loved your thoughts on that in terms of like allowing that inner voice to be somebody that lifts you up as opposed to brings you down. And every once in a while, we all need a talking to, right? But I think that there is a conscience inside each of us, and we know when we really screwed it up. You know, I mean, unless you're really so self-absorbed, you can't see outside of yourself. There's very few people that don't know when they've made a mistake that needs to be corrected, one that might be hurtful or unkind in some way. And so, I like the idea of having that friendly self next to you when you're talking to yourself. Be the one that says, it's all right. Apologize and let's move forward, as opposed to, you know, continuing to beat yourself up over that all the time.
Yeah.
No, and Lauren, thank you for asking that question, because it's funny that, like, I having said it out loud, it's interesting, like, that when I said it out loud, I realized that I don't think I ever really realized that I kind of was treating myself like that. I mean, I knew it because I was saying it to myself, but saying it out loud, and then you referencing, like, you know, be more friendly to yourself because you deserve it. I do. I'm like, I should be the good friend that I am to others, to myself as well. And I have to kind of remember that. So great prompt card question.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that reached out and that resonated.
Yeah.
I love that word.
Yeah.
But I think I count the therapist I've seen as their client as part of my mentorship. And the last person I saw was wonderful. And she really helped me to grasp how self-compassion could impact my life. And I got to say, I am all on board with that being a life's work, because I think that's what I came away from. It's not like, you reach a point where you're like, oh, I am optimally compassionate to myself. Like it's an ongoing thing, you know, you may need more or less as the days pass. And it's okay to notice that. And it's okay to say, well, I need a little more, or like, well done. You are thoroughly self-compassionate today.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
So for our people out there listening today, take what we just talked about and tell yourself one great thing you're doing in your business right now. Like, what is one great thing you are doing for yourself? That's be a friend to yourself for just a moment and write it down, or say it to yourself out loud. You know, go to the mirror and do that kind of creepy talk to yourself in the mirror thing. You know, whatever it is that will like boost you today, because it's uncomfortable, but at the same time, I think it's like I kind of have like these little butterfly, like, I'm all right, I can do this kind of moments going on right now.
Right.
Okay. Gosh, okay. All right. Are we ready for question number 3? I think we can do 2, maybe 1, maybe 2 more if we go quickly.
Yeah, we're at 43 minutes, guys. So maybe let's shoot for one more.
One more. So fire away, Lauren. I can take it.
All right. Okay, let's see. Oh, this one, I think, because we're just moving. Look at that. Right? We're moving right through the stages. And maybe I should let you in on the question before I start making these observations. So the last one comes from the category called goals and life purpose, which I love, Anna, that you were kind of speaking to your listeners' goals and purpose in that business sense. So what are 3 areas? Feel free to adjust that number. This is your day. What are 3 areas of my life I'm ready to transform in the next few years?
Ooh. In the next few years. Oh, okay. So this one's so easy for me. I love this. We're right in the middle of like this big life upheaval happening, right? My husband's retiring from the military. Talk about huge life change. Right? Like that is changing where we're living, where we don't move anymore, his job, our financial, aspects, all of these things are changing for us right now. So I could probably list about 50 different areas that I'm going to be working on. But I think they all this is the point I'm going to make about this one, though. It's all centered around the change in my husband's life. Right. And that has for so many years driven what we do, where we go, where we're living, who our friends are. His job has been the catalyst for all of those things for so long that the prospects of the word retirement from the military is a little bit terrifying for me, because it puts me in this space of unknown. I don't know how to be a retired military wife. I know how to be an active duty military spouse, right? I don't know what it means to not have an active duty military card. I mean, heck, I'm gonna have to start paying for my bags on airplanes now. But these are like little things that we've had for, the last 20 years, right? It's been a really long time. And so now they're all going to change, and it's going to be all new. And it's this whole new category I'm going into. So while I'm not giving you three specific areas, it is this level of unknown entity of what now being retired means, and figuring out that process. And it'll take probably 5 years. It's taken me 15, 20 to get to this point. So, it's going to be this huge process of like rediscovering who I am, not as a military spouse, if that makes sense. Because that, like I mentioned, that's been the driving force for so long. So anyway, there's mine. Selena, go for it.
Okay, Lauren, I got anxiety when you asked a question that I forgot the question, like the whole question. It's 3 goals.
Nice.
And what can you tell me again?
Oh my gosh.
As I
was reading these, Selena, I was like, I can't even remember. Like, how am I going to respond to their answers if I have to like reread the card? So I love that. Maybe we can do this again, and we'll have some way to like post it, because I am like, I am having a hard time remembering it. So thank you for sharing your reaction, because you're not alone. Let me just read that again. And before I read the question again, and I just want to respond to what you were saying, in that the transformation doesn't always have to be kind of like little things that we're like, oh, there's concrete goals that we're going to move. But I love that you are willing to kind of lay out that that transformation for you is really a whole shift identity wise, and kind of like where the motor is in what's driving your life. And like, I love that you're so fearless. This is like our first meeting, and I like want to be a part of your show. Right? And I love that fearless sense of being able to say, you know what's coming next is like a full shift, is like a total 180 moon eclipse situation. I know nothing about space. So let's go then to Selena, and let me reread that question for you, because
so sorry, Lauren.
No,
I got anxiety.
No, girl, ask for what you need. Great.
I know.
Advocate. Okay, so what 3 areas of my life am I ready to transform in the next few years?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and edit that number however you like. Maybe there's one kind of overarching theme. Yeah. Maybe there's some little ones.
Got it. Okay. I'm going to do a small one, which is I'd like to overcome my anxiety of driving. That's a goal, because it prevents me from really like going to participate in things, because I need to make sure somebody has to be with me. Anna has been a number of times the driver for us to go a certain amount of our scope. And so, but I don't like to, I learned this in my business, like my corporate job, like way back when, is I hate having to rely on somebody sometimes for getting to a finishing, and not in the sense of like a collaborative thing, but that I need somebody else sometimes to complete my mission per se. That's something I like to do. And I think that's an area. I'm sweating just talking about it.
You got a live one.
Yeah, we do. Absolutely live. And then I guess just my last thing is it's like Anna, and I think with the military life, it's so for planners and organizers, it's like no, you can't plan, right? It's the motto, I think, in the Army is like, hurry up and wait. And so my husband is also nearing retirement, but he's like one stage behind what Anna's husband is. We haven't been able to drop our packet and get an actual date where he can exit out of the military. And so we're kind of in the middle of this, like, we may have to move one more time, but we don't want to, and we're trying to stay here. And I would love to hopefully get that resolved so we can kind of like really plan and goal. And for me, it's not an identity shift because I was a civilian a lot longer than Anna has been, in the sense of like, she's been in the military a long time. And so she's used to how that military life has treated them and guided them. And for me, it's funny, I come in with 5 years as a military spouse, but I can see both sides of the world. So I don't feel scared about us leaving and getting out because I know how it is. But I just like to know, like, that's my plan, is that's a goal in the next 4 years, is like solidifying what we will be doing as a family, where we'll be going, and obviously scaling my business. But I don't know. I'm a hot mess, but that's it. That's where I went. That's where I'm going with that question.
Yes.
Great.
I love it. It's funny because even though you say you're one step behind and you want to be able to plan, it's the primary thing is the military drives that timeline for us. And that's the part where people like Selena and I, who like to plan, or entrepreneurs, especially entrepreneurs in the military world, boy, they can really just screw up your best made plans and be like, well, go to plan F now. We're on plan F, G, H, and I. Because B, C, D, E, and they're gone. Like, they're no longer options for us anymore. And so I think that for, again, people listening, when they're thinking about these things, like, to really look at like, understanding where you're at in your life and what the outside impact forces are going to end up being that are going to affect your decision-making process. Because there are times where I'm like, ooh, I would totally love to be able to do this, but yeah, not realistic. We're PCSing in 2 months. So I know that this is not a good time for me to take this step, because this outside force is going to affect my success or failure rate for it.
Right.
So anyway, I love the question though, because I think that everybody can like stop and say, this area, and this area are places I can improve on. And it's almost like a New Year's resolution, right? Like, what are some goals that I can have? But I also love that it can be that you said, I mean, you read the card and it said 3, and then you immediately turned around and said, yeah, but it can really be as many as you need. So when people are listening, and even if you buy one of these decks of cards, right? Like, don't be so literal, I guess is going to be right. Like, tailor it to what you need, as opposed to what does the card say you're supposed to be doing right now, right? Anyway.
No. Yeah, Lauren, thank you. That was a great question. There's a lot of me that wants to just continue on, but I know we're at 53 minutes and I want to be, but here's the thing. So Anna and I, we're going to start this like just because talk where it's less structured. So I'm definitely going to say, like, we need to just invite Lauren on for a just because talk so we can just continue that on, because I love this. Yeah. Like, I totally do want no. Okay. We could go one more. What are we feeling, Anna?
Well, we have to keep it under an hour, which means that we have to close it out now.
Yes, we are.
Let's for sure plan on doing a just because. We'll do a 1 card just because, and it'll be like 52 card pickup. You'll throw them in there, and then with your eyes closed, pick one out. And we'll talk about the card for that day. I think that's a fantastic plan. So everybody listening in, if you've enjoyed this, we're going to do a just because chat sometime this week. This week, everybody can do this week, right?
Lauren's like, whatever. With a glass of wine, you guys. I think that would be like the best. This is the
same mug, different beverage. Yes.
There you go.
Right. You all think it's coffee now, but it's not.
Right. Okay, so before we go, though, let's tell everybody where they can find Lauren, because this has been so great. So Lauren's on LinkedIn. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, that's LinkedIn.
Yeah. I'm on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And Lauren is going to tell you, though, she is probably like in line with our grandmother. She's not huge on social media.
Our grandmother.
Grandma and I we're spiritually linked in that way. And that it looks like I pop up like a Groundhog's Day on social media. And I think, that's life of the student. Like I've just been underground working on that. But if people are wanting to connect, please feel free to let me know.
Yeah.
And I think managing boundaries is important for everyone. And this has been so cool for me to step into a role that's like, a little bit on the therapist-y side, but very much not a real session. So if folks are out there and questions like this, thinking deeply about yourself, about your life, about your connection to the environment around you, if that's bringing stuff up for you, please feel free to use hopefully those resources that I sent to you, Selena, can go somewhere for people to just NAMI is how I say it in my mind, but it's an acronym. And please go to one of these links. If you know somebody that could benefit from support right now, we all could, but there's always a degree. And I think people are really good and capable of noticing when they need more support than what they're currently getting. So let go of that critic that's telling you don't, that's too much. I'm not one of those people. Let go of that judgment and just get what you need from your world.
No, this has been so awesome.
Yeah. I was supposed to ask you what your final words of advice were, Lauren, but I feel like you just gave them. If you know someone or if you yourself needs additional, just that extra little bits of support, reach out and just know that there are people out there that are there to help and people around you that would help if they knew, right? And it's hard to ask for help sometimes. So encourage you to do that for sure.
No, absolutely. And I think this is going to tie back into last season's with Aaron again. The stigma of not asking for help sometimes is, he said, worse than this, like what you're going through sometimes because you're worried about what people will say. And so I love that Lauren gave these resources because it is important to know that there are places to go. And, again, we all find ourselves in some kind of like down times. And so you just need to know where to go.
Yeah.
Reach out,
Exactly. Okay. So, hey, everybody, we got a question for you. So we talked about mentors, mentorships and all that kind of good stuff. So if you don't want to share your responses on social media about any of the things that we talked about today, then here's your question. Are you a mentor or are you looking for mentorship? And where are you at in that process? Otherwise, tag us with that hashtag 15MCC, 15-ish MCC.
Yes.
Okay. Hashtag us with that or tag either Selena or I in your post because we would love to hear some answers. We're always going to be responding. Don't forget, we're a podcast now. So Lauren's episode will be uploaded soon and you can listen to it again via podcast. Share it with all your friends. I know she's like, whoa, what? I'm on a podcast.
I'm famous. I'm celebrity.
That's soothing voice of Lauren Bruhn. I absolutely love, right?
Totally. I know. We're so excited. Seriously. Yes, we're on podcast. You're going to listen to it. And then I think we're going to bring in for next week, right, Anna? Moni Jefferson, our public relations professional and passionate entrepreneur specializing in consumer PR, media, influencer relations.
This woman is like a powerhouse.
Yes. Like she's amazing. And it's, when you talk about mentors, she's like a mentor to a lot of people. And so we're excited to have her on. She's the other half to Flossie Hall, who we had on last season. They have a partnership and we literally think that they're amazing. Or as Anna said, they are bomb.com. Yeah. If I can reference like some old stuff, but so
the bomb.
Yes. So again, we are also looking for coffee cup sponsors always. So feel free to reach out to us via messenger, email, whatever, all the things. You can find us everywhere. But Lauren, thank you so much. Seriously. And we hope that all our listeners are now ready to take on the world while handling stress and anxiety with dignity and grace, because That's what you gave us all today.
Yes,
Yeah.
seriously.
That was written by Anna. I
Yeah.
don't write so eloquently. Eloquently. I want to be like Moira from Schitt's Creek.
Oh God, are you serious?
The baby.
Yes, she has the best vocabulary. I just want to I want to wordsmith like her. But I know that Anna and Lauren is very intelligent. We knew. Okay, I'm going to just reference this real fast before we hang up, before we end our broadcast. So Lauren and I have some years between us. So when she was little, and we went, just a couple. When we were little, I was a senior, and I believe she was maybe 3. We went to California. And she was so excited. She had fish in a fish tank, and she was showing all of her Hawaii cousins that were coming in, and she was talking about like the pH balance. And I'm like the senior that just graduated the diploma, and I'm like, what? What's it? What? And I was like, I walked away going, my 3-year-old cousin is way smarter than me. Like, maybe I shouldn't have this high school diploma, because I was like, what are you talking about? Fish has a pH balance? Like, isn't that the stuff on my secret deodorant that I put on? Like, so she's smart. So I'm sure you both could be Moira and come up with witty words to say like Moira does, Moira Rose. But anyway, okay, Lauren, thank you again for coming on and being our first guest. We love you so much and appreciate you. And everybody, thank you from Anna and I. We'll catch you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.